All right, shalom, shalom. This brother Tazadak, hero Israel. I'd like to start off by giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Zechariah chapter 2, going into the Hebrew. So Lord, when you're edified, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. So let's get right into it, all right? Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 1, right? So in the Zechariah, right, as you saw from the previous video, I left off at Zechariah 2 and 4, right? So this is actually verse 1 right here, because in the blue letter you have Zechariah 2 and 1, right, which is the verse I'm going to start off with, right? So let's get right into it. It says Zechariah 2 and 1, which reads, "And I lifted up my eyes, and I saw, and behold, a man, and in his hand a cord of measurement," right? Because the word kabal means to bind, right? Which is another way to say cord. The word for cord, I believe it's yathad. Or Salakia. Let's get that real quick. Which you read about that in the book of Exodus, right? Word for cord, I believe it's either yathad or yathar. Yathar, right? So that is the actual word for a cord, right? So let's look at that word, which is chabal, because it says wa asha'a ayanya wa ara'a wa hana ayash wa bayadwa chabal madah, right? That word for chabal is Strong's H2256, right? Let's see what this says. Let's listen to that real quick.
Strong's H2256. Hevel. Hevel.
Which is chabal, right? It says pains, pangs, figuratively, right? That is a cord, a rope, measuring line, a noose, a snare, cord, a territory, band, which let's see if we get the root for that here. Chabal, to tighten a cord, to twist, thus to bind. To bind someone by a pledge or take a pledge from, right? To spoil, to destroy. To bind, pledge, right? Another word for pledge is arabah or arab, meaning to mix or to mingle, right? So that word it means, right, essentially to bind. Let's get some cognates for it. Chabal. So we have where is it? Chabal, to bind, a rope, a cord, a pledge, figuratively territory, right, or country. right? So that word is Chabal. So this is what Zechariah saw. He lifted up his eyes. He saw a man, right, with in his hand a measuring line, right, or a cord. I rather just say cord, which was the angel, like it says in chapter 1, right, which appeared unto him in a vision. But now there are two angels, right, in this chapter, right? Zechariah 2:2, and I said, where art thou going? And he said unto me, uh, um, to measure unto Jerusalem, to see according to what is the width, and according to what is its length, is the length, right? Wa amar ana atha halak wa amar alia lamad atha Yerushalayim la ra'ath kama rahaba wa kama araka, right? Which like in the first chapter here in Zechariah, right, you have a similar thing being mentioned, right, which is talking about, right, we hear about that chapter 1 and 2, Revelation chapter 11 and 1, and on down. That's talking about uh, Jerusalem, which is a people before it was a place, right? To measure means to teach the people, right? Starting with the remnant, right? So it says, where it says ana, that means where, right? Um, but it also means an occasion, right? That's what that word ana means. It's like not where, but it means when or whence, right? Meaning from where, right? Basically, he's saying where are you going, right? Right. So you have certain persons that would say, right, when is this coming, right? Would it be ana, or if I say on a specific occasion, right, I would use that same word ana, right? Or I believe that's Psalms 121, right? That word is ma'ayan, meaning from whence does my strength come, from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Which is ma'ayan, right? Which the root is ana, right? So our job is to give the distinction of the Lord's temple, which is the people, right? Which is an actual spiritual temple, which is a body of believers, right? To give the understanding, the length and the width, right? To expound on the things written, right? Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 7. And behold, the angel that spoke with me went out, and the angel behind went out to meet him. Wahana ha mala'aka ha dabar baya yataza'a wa mala'aka achor yataza'a La Quara'athwa, Zechariah, what's this, verse 2 and 3, or Salakia 4, Zechariah 2 and 4. So, yeah, let me just do this real quick. Zechariah 2 and 4. And he said unto him, Speak unto the young man that to say, without walls will dwell Jerusalem. It's like as an unwalled village will dwell Jerusalem with many men and cattle in its midst. Waya Amar Alwa Rataza Dabar al Hanayar Halaz la Amar Parazath Tashab Yerushalayim Marab Adam Wa Bahama Bathawaka. So basically the angel is speaking to the other angel, saying, Go, speak unto this young man, meaning Zechariah, right? The word halaz means that, right? So the word hawa means he, she, that is, right? Or he is, right? In certain instances, right? The word halaz is that on its own, right? So he said to say unto him, right? The word paraz means an unwalled village, right? Will dwell Jerusalem, right? Meaning it's talking about the spiritual temple, right? We're not going to actually be in a city. We're not going to go from house to house like in the former days, like it says in the book of Acts, right? Because now we have via the internet, right? You have, right, by word of mouth going out on highways and byways, right? Which is how this word is going out, right? With many men, right? That's talking about the remnant, right? Keep in mind, Israel is as the sand of the sea, but the remnant, right, are still many people, right? Because Scripture says from all nations, kindreds, and tongues, which is talking about the majority that are here in America, Babylon Great. But there's also a few throughout the whole world that will be delivered, right, of the elect, right? But the elect remnant are mainly here in America, Babylon Great, because it's gonna be a great deliverance. So if you can understand what I'm saying, right, the majority are here in America, Babylon Great that look like other nations that will be saved, and then there's a few that are scattered abroad that will be saved throughout the whole earth, right? And then you have 2/3, which are here in America, Babylon Great, and you have 2/3 around the whole world, right? And right. So basically, that's it, right? Now, as far as 2/3, I mean, are the majority here? Most likely, right? But when you say majority and you say few, right, that's still a large number because we are a large nation, right? If you can understand what I'm saying. So Jerusalem will be as a city without walls, right? Many men and beasts in its midst, right? That represents what? The sacrifice that we have, right? Zechariah 2 and 5, And I will be unto it, saith the Lord of hosts, as walls of fire round about. And for honor I will be in its midst. To honor it, I will be in its midst. Or for honor, right? Wa'anaya ahaya laha na'am Yahweh hawamath ash sabiab wala kabad ahaya bathawaka. Right? Because ultimately the elect are going to be brought through the fire, which is trials, tribulations, right? But literally it says in the book of Isaiah, we're going to glorify the Lord through the fires, right? Which is literally, right, the destruction coming, right, the elect being delivered, and right, as we're rising, right, into the chariots, if we're of that number, right, meaning the elect, literally the missiles are going to touch down. It's going to be quick, right? It's going to be quick destruction, quick deliverance, right, in 1 hour, right? Like it says in the book of Revelation. But the deliverance itself, we're literally going to be brought through an actual fire, but the Lord's going to shield us from that, right? Even like it says in the book of Zechariah, right? 3 parts will die therein, right? And a third will be brought through the fire. That's twofold, through the tribulations, but also literally through the fire, which is why it says in the book of Revelations that what they glorified the Lord in the firmament, which was molten, like a molten glass. And there's other precepts on that. You can look at the breakdowns for Revelation, right? So there's multiple precepts to back that up, right? Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 5, verse 6, Salakia. Or right, so this is why the Lord said, and for honor I will be in its midst, right? Because the Lord is not doing it for Israel. He's not doing it, right, because of Abraham. Like it says in the book of Ezekiel, I believe Ezekiel 38. He's saying that I do it not for your sake. But I do it to honor my holy name, because you did not honor it. So this is all to glorify the Lord, all these things, right? Now he didn't say because I didn't do it because of Abraham, but he did because he swore upon himself, right? But he made it clear in Ezekiel. Let's see if we can get that real quick, because that kind of pertains to this scripture. So the Lord is basically saying he's redeeming himself, right? Which is, right, only God can do that, right? Man can't redeem man, right? You can't bring a man back from the pit. Only God can do that, basically. So basically, the Lord is bragging, right? Because he's the Almighty, right? Let's see. Ezekiel 38 and 23. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. There's another precept, actually. Let me see if I can get that. I believe Ezekiel 37. Might be Ezekiel 39. says Ezekiel 39:7, so will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. Let's get one more. Let's see, do it not for your sake. Right, so the Lord is using his bravado, right, to boast. He's boasting, right, which is what you read in chapter 1 as well, right? So it's Ezekiel 36:22. Ezekiel 36:22. We'll start at 16. Ezekiel 36:16. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way, and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanliness of a removed woman. Right? So that's how the Lord saw our ways, and he still sees those that have not returned as an unclean, removed woman, as a vagabond, unclean, filthy woman, right? Ezekiel 36:18, wherefore I poured out my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for the idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them amongst the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way, and according to their doings I judged them, right? Ezekiel 36:20, and when they entered into the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name when they said to them, These are the people of the Lord, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whether they went, right? So the Lord didn't really have pity for his own name. That's like me saying, right? You know, I had pity for my name, right? That's just again, the Lord is boasting, right, in his power, right, because he's his in his omnipotency, right. So he said in Ezekiel 36:22, therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God, I do this not for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned amongst the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, saith the Lord God, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. Right? Anyways, so let's go back to Zechariah. Zechariah in the mist. Right, so we're at right, which is why the Lord said here in Zechariah 2:5, he said, I will be the glory of it, right? Because it is all of the Lord. It is all to glorify his name, his works, right? We're not here to glorify man like General Nathaniel. He calls himself General Nathaniel, the bishop of IUIC, the head bishop of IUIC, right? King General, Saint, Chief Minister, Bishop Nathaniel, right? These, that's nuts, right? These men are off, right? General Yohana, the second in command, right at, under I believe they say under Yahushai or something like that. It's retarded, right? So this is Zechariah chapter 2, and what's that? 8, 9, that's 5. Zechariah 2 and 6. Which says, destruction, destruction unto it. It's like a destruction, destruction unto it. And flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. Because like the four winds of the heavens, I have spread thee out, saith the Lord. Which reads, Hawaii, Hawaii, Wanaswa, Ma'arataza Tazapan, Naam Yahweh, Kaya Ka Arabai, Rechath Hashemayim, Parashtaya, Athakam Naam Yahweh. Right? Because that word Hawaii, again, Hawa or Haya, right? It also means to be, to become, but it also means a fall, right? Represents a fall. It means a fall, like a free fall, basically. Right? Because when you go skydiving, you're free falling, right? You're how do you say it? You're not still, but you're in one state. You're continuously falling, right? Continuously are falling, right? Which is Hawa, meaning to fall, right? It's another way to say fall, to fall, like Nepal, right? So the Lord is saying, which also Hawaii means woe, meaning destruction, right? Which is the root is Hawa, right? So the Lord is basically saying destruction, destruction, right, is coming. To flee from the land of the north, not literally, but to flee the philosophies of America, Babylon the Great, which is spiritually Sodom, Egypt, right? The daughter of Babylon, right? Chaldea, right? Which is right the witchcrafts of the mistress of abominations, right? They have these are the many names of the bloody city, the land of the north, right? Of his wicked kingdom, right? So the Lord's saying, because like the four winds of the heavens, I have spread thee out, right? So the Lord spread all Israel out for a particular reason, right? 2/3 to be destroyed, right? And in the midst of World War III and other lands, right? For the elect to be delivered, right? During World War III, the remnant and other lands, but also in order for the majority to be here in America, Babylon Great, either to be delivered or to be destroyed, which as many will be destroyed, right? So that word parash means to spread out. It's another way to say scatter, basically. So Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 7, destruction O Zion, right? The Lord is basically saying destruction is coming, O Zion. Escape, thou that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon, right? Hawaii, Tazayan, Tazayawan, Ha Malatia, Yashabath, Bath Babol. because that word malat or palat means to slip away. It's another way to say escape, right? So it's basically saying, destruction, O Zion, slip away, right? Thou that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon, right? As an escape the philosophies, right, of Esau, Edom, and the other nations, which is, right, pagan customs. All these things are, right, are molded into, right, to cater to a one world religion system, right, which starts with Christianity, Catholicism, right, which is, right, we know these things aren't of the truth, right? Lies, deception, treachery, extortion, right? The Lord is not dealing with kissing a Virgin Mary rock or praying to a Virgin Mary, right? That's off, right? The Lord didn't say, right, to have a wooden cross, right, and right. These nations have no understanding, right? Zechariah, or having your right the Lord didn't say pray to the Virgin Mary, right? He says, he said, pray to me in the name of my son Yahushua, right? Zechariah, what's that? 9, 10, 11. Zechariah 2 and 9. Salakia. Salakia, this is Zechariah 2 and 8. Because thus saith the Lord of hosts, after honor I have sent unto the nations. He that spoileth you because is as he that touches upon you to touch the hollow of his eye, right? It says, Kaya ka amar Yahweh tazabawath achar kabad shalachnaya al hagawayim ha shalalim athakam kaya ha nagai bakam nagai ba babath ayanwa, right? Basically saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, after honor I have sent unto the nations, right? After whose honor? The Lord's honor, right? Because the Lord has raised up, right, the prophets in these latter days, right, to bring honor unto the Lord's name, to put respect on the Lord's name, right? Those that do not listen, right, 2/3 will be destroyed. The other nations, we already telling you that your system is going down. You're imagining a vain thing, right? So this is all for the Lord's honor. He has sent unto the nations, right? So yeah, we were sent unto the nations, but to prophesy against them. We're prophesying against America, Babylon Great, against Esau, Edom, against the Hamites, against the Ishmaelites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, right? But our people dwell amongst them because they mingled with them. Talking about the seed of man, our people, but they look like other nations. So this is that whole truth that people do not want to expound on in your church and these other camps, right? All Israelites are not going to look like Wesley Snipes, right? And this is why many of our people are going to be destroyed, right? Because they look at themselves and they're like, "Oh shit, well, I don't play the part," right? So they go back into the world, and right, they just the Lord blinded them, right? We're not worried about them. We're worried about the remnant, right? So this is after the Lord's honor He has sent unto the prophets, like it says in the book of Jeremiah and in the book of Revelation, right? Um, let's see if we can get that real quick. Get my Bible out. Excuse me for a bit. All right. Uh, all right. Let's go first to Jeremiah 28 and 10, I believe. Just take this out of this hardcover so I can flip through it faster. Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against many kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, right? Which is what's coming. It's already here. The pestilence, the evil, right? The perverseness, it's evident, right? The demons that the Lord had sent against his servants. We all have our personal demons, but things that we deal with on a personal level, right? But this place is you can see a purposeful vexation, right? You can see that there are agents sent to the amongst the camps, right? Like Apostle Recall recently said, right? We're in that championship round, right? So now's not the time to be slack, right? Now is the time to right to speak about these things, right? Like it says in the book of Malachi, speak often one to another, right? Because the remnant are going to seek the word, and they're going to seek these points, right? Revelation. Let's get that real quick. Revelation 10 and 11, and he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Talking about John the Revelator, right? Which he's here in these latter days, right? We don't know who he is or what, but we know that we believe in his word, right? We don't know, right? We could just be regular men, right? That receive the word and are just paying it forward, right? But the prophets are back, right? Wherever they may be, right? So it says, he that spoileth you, right? Which starts with Esau, Edom, then trickling on down into the nations, and our own people oppressing our own people. The word shalal, right? It means prey. Another way to say to spoil. That word babath, right? The root word is nabab, meaning to hollow out, right? In this case is the hollow of the eye or the pupil of the eye, right? So basically it's saying he that touches you touches the apple of the Lord's eye, right? which is not really hurting the Lord, right? Because ultimately you have one of those. You get something in your eye, right? Ultimately it's just a little bit of debris, and you just pick at it, and it's not really something painful. So to the Lord, you're not hurting him, right? You can't do that. You can't do that, right? It's just a tickle, right? It's nothing. But he's not pleased with that, right? Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 9. Because there I will lift up unto my hand upon them, and they shall be for a spoil unto their servants, and thou shalt know because the Lord of hosts has sent me, right? Because ultimately, right, he that liveth by the sword will perish by the sword. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. The plowman shall overtake the reaper, right? Because Esau had his time to rule, right? But now you have the Lord stirring up the nations, right? So everything has been, Satan is divided against Satan, right? He's not going to stand, right? You're done, right? Even 2/3, right? 2/3 of our people are done. We're done, right? Because we don't have no power, right? Meaning we don't have no strength to deliver ourselves. We're walking in faith, right? We're waiting upon the Lord, right? To bring forth the remaining judgment, right? Which is that cup that we drank of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, but now the nations have to drink of it, which is, right, we're basically spiritually handing the cup over onto them by giving them their judgment, which is destruction, right? They're pushing back at it. 2/3 are pushing back at it. No, I'm not thirsty, or I don't want to drink right now, right? But ultimately, it's gonna spill, right? We're gonna just push it on them, right? Which is what we're doing. They don't like that, and it's gonna spill, and it's gonna be uh, great bloodshed, right? In the midst of World War III. I mean, not through us, right? This the Lord said, "Wait upon me," right? We're not preaching violence. We're talking about, right, the World War III judgment, right? The things that are coming to America, things that are coming to the whole world, right? World War III, martial law, FEMA camps, right? We're just reading out the scriptures, right? We're not going to do anything, right? Scripture says that what? We are led as sheep to the slaughter, right? So some of us will die for this truth, but that's of the Lord, right? You can't destroy all of Israel, right? It's not possible, right? So the Lord is going to lift up his hand, meaning he's going to intervene, right? So they will become a spoil to the servants, and then they shall know that a prophet had been among them. But it's going to be too late by that time, right? Because the famine of the word is going to kick off. That great accusation is coming, right? Then Esau Edom is going to be like a madman, spoiling and destroying those, right? He's going to spare none, right? He's not sparing nobody. He knows what he's doing, right? Everything's polluted, right? Philosophies, all that is to pollute your mind, right? And then you have Esau, right? He's going to bring his more signs, more of his lying wonders, right? Via his technology, right? Even right? Like I mentioned in camp, that GPT chat, right? Basically, he's gonna bring AI to life on the left hand side, because really those are demons working in the background, right? Right? Because Esau has a what we have a righteous priesthood. Esau has his own priesthood, which he gets it from ancient ancient priesthoods, right? Like the Persians or Zoroastrians, the Chaldeans. All these come from ancient kingdoms, Egypt, Mesopotamia, right? But Esau has a deeper understanding, right? And it's really through lying spirits, through Satan, the spiritual demon Satan working in the background, right? Which is why he's able to manipulate splice genes and right all of that, create weapons of destruction, destructive weapons. AI, that's basically Satan. He's gonna bring Satan to life. That image is gonna speak, right? His surveillance systems, all of that, right? Basically, he's gonna all these lead to the charagma, right? Revelation 13 and 16, right? And I might do a lesson on that, but actually, let's check out some of these videos, right? Or I'll just put the link in the chat, right? Because I don't want to get um, actually, fuck it. Let's see if I'll do a separate lesson because I don't want to compromise this video. Right, so the Lord is going to lift up his hand when they come in as a flood. He's going to lift up a standard. Right, they shall know that the Lord has sent, right, his messengers, right? So it says, Kaya Hanaya Athayadia Aliyaham Wahayawa Shalal La Abadiyaham Wayadai Thum Kaya Yahawah Tazabawath Shalachnaya Slakia. Where the hell are we at? 48-minute mark. Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 10. Let's see how many more verses we got left. Alright, we're almost there. Zechariah 2 and 10. Shout and rejoice, daughter of Zion, because, or Salakia. So the Lord said, because there, right, because the word Hana means behold, but it means here or there, right? So the Lord saying, I will lift up, right, my Nayap, which is the word Nayap or Nawap means to lift up and down, or to wag the finger, like it says in the book of Isaiah. Right, so basically, right, that destruction is coming. You can't stop it. Division is here, right? The devices are here. The pestilence, the plagues are here. And even the heathen, the heathen know we're right. But the person that just can't get it through their thick head is Esau Edom, right? Because he's the proudest, he's the proudest devil you will ever meet. Why? Because, well, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, You have the biggest toys, you have the biggest, right? Boom boom, right? You got the artillery, you basically got everything, right? And I mean that makes sense. I mean, if you were the biggest bully, right, on the block, then yeah, you would be confident because you have the hardware, the software, the necessary, right, manpower, right. You have the spiritual demon Satan on your side, so Esau is gonna do what the Lord said he's gonna do, right? You nations, you're just not you're not gonna prevail at the end of the day, right? Really, you're setting yourself up. Um, and it's not going to be good at all, right? It's going to be very very bad for you. All right, 2/3 of our people, the nations, Esau, right? So we're not sweet talking you, right? We're telling you, right, that we're at that time, right? This isn't right. The good old days, right? We are in those times. Crucial times. Crucial times. Zechariah 2:10. Shout and rejoice, daughter Zion, because I come and I will dwell in your midst, saith the Lord. Ranaya Washamachia Bath Tazayawan Kaya Hanaya Ba'a Shakanathia Bathawaka Naam Yahweh. Right? Ranan right, or Ran, which is Rawan or Ranan, it means to shout, right? The Lord saying that He's coming, right? He's going to dwell in the midst of us, starting with His Word, starting with the manifestation of the sons of God, which is the prophecies being made manifest. Like it says in 1 John, I believe, and right, the Lord is dwelling with us because we've been given the understanding, right? As the nations are, I mean, as they're bugging out, right? We're coming to a clearer understanding that this is it, right? So there's nothing else really to say, right? Even 2/3 of our people, right? We're just everyone is just off, right? You're sick. You're one sick puppy. Zechariah 2:11, and will be joined nations many unto the Lord in the day that is, right? So we're not giving you a prosperity doctrine, right? The Lord said He's going to wound the head over many nations, right? We're not talking about Rainbow Six sniper style, right? But that you might see that in Jacob's Trouble, right? You're going to see a lot of madness going on. You see women ravished, right? The pride that Eve has right now, right? That's going to be done away with, right? A lot of you women are about to be humbled, right? Whether you like it or not. So it says, and will be joined nations many unto the Lord in the day that is, and will be for me, unto me a people. Which it says, right, that's talking about the remnant of Israel, of the Israelites, right, that are dwell amongst the nations that look like the other nations, right? So when it says many nations, that's talking about the sojourners and amongst these other peoples, kindreds, nations, and tongues, which are of the actual bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it says, Wana lawa gawayim rabiim al Yahweh bayawam hahawa wahayawa laya la'im, and I will dwell in your midst, and thou shalt know because the Lord of hosts had sent me unto thee. Wa shekanathia bathawaka wad yadayath kaya Yahweh tazabawath shalachnaya al yakah. Right? So many nations that are joined to themselves, that's talking about the remnant returning unto the God of Jacob, right? Become God's people, right? Which is we're in the transition to that new covenant, right? Being delivered, right? The chariot's coming, being given spiritual power, right? The armies compassing about the holy city, fire raining down from heaven, which is going to take place in the Fertile Crescent, right? The Valley of Decision, right? So he's already dwelling with us in a sense, right? But he's going to literally, right? His spirit is going to be amongst us, right? Through Yahweh Shai, right? In the second coming. And those that are with Yahweh Shai at his coming, right? Zechariah chapter 2 and 12. And will inherit the Lord unto Judah, his portion upon the Holy Land, and will choose again unto Israel, and will choose again upon Israel. Wa nachal Yahweh atha Yahuda chalakwa al Adamath hakwadash wa Bahar Iwad by Yerushalayim. Right, so the Lord is going to claim Judah as a special portion. Will choose Jerusalem again, right? Which is why Judah gets it the worst, right? But the remnant are going to return, right? So it says, Zechariah 2 and 17, which brings me to the precept. Let's get that real quick. Ezekiel Zechariah, Salakia. Because I've been meditating recently in the book of Zechariah, so I figured I'd do some Hebrew readings. Zechariah, which is the word quara'ah, meaning to read. Salakia. Or to call out, or to cry. figuratively, that is. This is Zechariah chapter 9, and verse 5, Ashkelon shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it and be very sorrowful. And Ekron, for her expectation, shall be ashamed. And the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. Right? So you have these various peoples in our land today. Right? The mamzers, the sewer rats, the small hats. Right? But our people are amongst them. Right? But they look like them. Right? If you can understand. Right? And they follow their ways, they follow their religions. Right? Zechariah 9:7, and I will take away his blood out of his mouth and his abominations from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our God, and he shall be as a governor in Judah, and Ekron as a Jebusite. Right? So he that remains, meaning we don't know exactly how that's going to happen, but right, the Lord is going to destroy that land. Somehow they're going to remain. Right, the Lord may be a covering unto them. They may flee right before that. Right, but they either been there or they were there, and they might at the time of the destruction be in another part of the earth. Right, whatever the case may be. Right, some of them are our people too. Right. Zechariah 9:8, and I will encamp about my house because of the army, because of him that passeth by, because of him that returneth, and no pressure shall pass through them any more. For now have I seen with my eyes. Right? So the Lord, but Judah is his special portion. Right? Zechariah chapter 2 and 13. Be silent, all flesh, from before the Lord, because he is stirred up from his holy habitation. Hasa called Bashar Mapanya, Yahweh Kaya Nayar, Na'iwar Salakia, Ma'awan Kwadashwa. The word Hasa means hush, right? Iwar means to be stirred up, to be awakened, to be aroused, right? Iwan, right? Which is Aina means to answer, Ma meaning of, so it means of to answer, right? It's talking about a habitation, right? Let's see if I can get that real quick in my notes. So you have Ma'aina meaning a habitation. You have Ma'ayan for so on account of, or Ma'aina meaning an answer, figuratively a trench, right? So basically, right, the Lord's holy habitation is what the Holy Land, right? So the scriptures say that the Lord dwells there, right? And he dwells in us through His Spirit, right? Which are the angels encamp round about those that fear Him. B'Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. So with that is Zechariah chapter 2, going into the Hebrew, right? And Shabbat Shalom, right? We're waiting for the moon to hit, for the sun to set, right? Or for the sun to go down, Salakia. However you want to say it, right? I prefer to say it from the going down of the sun, because that's what the scriptures say, right? And for the for the Shabbat to end. So Shabbat Shalom, it's Brother Atazadak, Hero Israel. Double honors as always to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Lord willing you ratified. Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Barakatam, and Shalom, Shalom.